Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline 123.
Whoa.
123 Main Street, right? 123 episodes, brother.
Insanity.
Insanity.
That's 123 weeks.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And during this time, I don't think that there has been there's been a lot of changes in our market. There's been a lot of changes in the wholesaling business. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be talking about over the next 90 minutes that everybody needs to hear. So strap in, because buyers are tightening and sellers still want fantasy land, right?
They can, yes, but we can combat that with the appropriate approach and the appropriate fundamentals, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
We're going to be breaking down percentages. We're going to be breaking down skills to build so that you can be prepared for this new world of wholesaling. Because I'm telling you this right now, the days of selling deals that weren't really deals are over. I am telling you, right?
Done deal,
I mean,
baby.
and this is coming straight from, you guys do an unbelievable amount, thousands of deals a month. What are you seeing? What is going on in the mind of cash buyers right now when you're sending out deals?
Well, first and foremost, what's the key response that we're getting from buyers right now is they're just not taking risks. They are not going to buy any property that you are trying to sell as, we'll make a great Airbnb. Okay, no, that's over. Okay. Nobody's buying short-term rentals. They don't care. Okay. They want fundamentals. They want wide gaps between acquisition price and ARV. They are going to require at minimum 10% buffer, because if the market corrects at all, they're still going to need to be able to exit these properties. And so by and large, what we're finding is that buyers are still absolutely pulling the trigger. They're just doing it for less.
Right.
So we as wholesalers need to sharpen our skills and make sure that we are getting these properties under contract at better discounts. And so whether or not we are going direct to seller, whether or not we are working with agents for referrals or other wholesalers, we have to go back to basics, guys. And that's what Wholesale Hotline 123 is all about. This is the 123 ABCs. We're returning back to the basics, guys. The show number is serendipitous for what we need to get back to.
It's getting back to the skills. Listen, it's over. The whole point, I'm going to just go and lock up everything and throw it out there on the market and hope that somebody closes it. It has worked for the last 24 months. It has. But before 2020, really, you actually had to lock up deals. This is not something new. This is not something that's crazy. This is not something that's going to disrupt our industry.
No.
There's still over 14 million ugly houses out there. 14 million distressed property owners out there for us to go find.
Yeah, and guys, my own corporate store, we did 6 transactions on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we sold 6 deals just in our corporate store on Friday. Buyers are still pulling the trigger. They are still absolutely buying. You guys just need to make sure that you actually have deals. All right. You're going to have to learn how to comp.
Well, the other thing is, listen, right off the bat, tomorrow you need to call up three hard money lenders in your market, the top 3 hard money lenders in your market, and have a conversation with them that says, what are your clients buying? They are the tip of the spear. I talked to Noah this morning. You talk to him every single week. He owns the biggest. Would he be the biggest? I assume he's the biggest.
He's the largest hard money in Arizona.
Right.
Yep.
And so he's the biggest. So these are the guys that know they're going to feel the crunch first, because people aren't going to be applying for these loans to get hard money. It has not slowed down for them. They have just seen that they're looking at different things. They're looking for different projects. They're not just going out there and like hoping that they can do these BRRRR strategies.
No, because
or Airbnbs
right
or any
now,
of these things.
Right now, BRRRRs are difficult to find because look, with the rising interest rates, when they do the refinance part of the BRRRR, that's I think the 3rd or 4th in a BRRRR. When they do the refinance, what ends up happening right now at 6 or 7%, it's negative cash flow. And so that doesn't make sense for your buy and hold buyer, right? So they're not going to just buy any old house. They're going to need to buy this house at a discount so that when they actually are after the renovation, they take into consideration a 6 or 7% interest rate, they still need to be able to break even or have some positive cash flow.
So this is we're just getting back to the basics of actually going out there and finding really good deals. And also, guys, if you're building your business to just sell to the hedge funds, you're going to go through a lot of headache, a lot of heartache all the time, because one, they adjust their buying box, and that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is they just stop buying altogether while you're under contract with them on several deals, and they will give you the earnest money. They'll take that hit and they'll just cancel you with no emotion. There's no like, oh, squeeze this one through. This one's really important. The seller really needs the money.
You just told me about somebody losing. How much was it in earnest money?
Somebody local lost $400,000. 400,000 in earnest deposits.
Hey guys, I'm not trying to say I told you so, but there were some people that for the last year were like, you know what, Jamil, we don't need to use Keegley because we've got these hedge fund buyers that have been buying up all of our stuff. Yep. Hey guys, my phone number hasn't changed. You can still come back. Just saying, we're still open. Happy to do business with you, and our buyers are still pulling the trigger. So come on back to Keegley, guys. We're happy to do business. So let's talk about this. What does this look like?
Well, this is what I talked about at your mastermind this week, right? This weekend is if ARV is up here, 100% ARV, some of the buyers and hedge funds, that was the most that you could offer on properties out there, because your dispo method was going to be for the hedge funds. All right. And then I'm going to go down the line as to kind of like the hierarchy of the different cash buyers. Let me write this. You take a couple questions and let me get this thing going here.
All awesome. Right. Awesome. First, let's, how do I get this thing to work? Yep. Oh, there it is. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the arrow. We have some wins to celebrate here. Guys, if you have any questions for us, please put them in the chat. We are getting back to basics in today's episode. Going to be talking about how you are still going to be able to do as many transactions as you might have done last year, and how you're going to need to underwrite those deals, how you're going to need to get those deals under contract, how you're going to need to communicate with your agents, your buyers, all of the good stuff. Rick Corbett Jr. said, Jamil, I need to thank you and let you know we just closed on a single family home in the hottest neighborhood in Jacksonville from Realtor Outreach. It's going to be a triple digit flip. Yeah, baby. Come on. Let's
ring that bell.
Boom. Yeah. Oh, sheesh.
All right, tell me if I'm right? Okay?
Yep.
Right here, guys. Here's like the hierarchy of different kind of exit strategies that we typically. What?
Not you.
Oh, okay. that what you're sending out. All right. So at the top would be hedge fund buyers. Those are the people that are going to spend the absolute most on your deals. And it's really worked out for the last couple of years because they've been really building momentum, kind of overspending what we'd expect. Boom. Gone. Just consider it gone. Next is your owner-occupied properties. These are people that their agents are telling them, listen, if you want to get a deal and you want to live in this neighborhood, when something pops up off market, you need to get a hard money loan and you need to close it with that loan. Okay. These are still around, but you'll see as inventory rises, these are going to get less and less because people can just offer deals on the MLS, offer to buy properties off the MLS. So watch this over the next 90 days to 6 months. Rental properties still around, but the rental terms, you got to make sure that they're right. They're going to get a little bit tighter in here because interest rates are higher, right? It just makes sense. Burr, boom. It's getting tough out there, guys, for Burr. I'm just telling you from a perspective of selling our own deals, talking to the top people around the country. Typically, the cash buyers are not burring their properties right now. Some are. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's still a good strategy if your numbers are right. I totally understand. But a lot of that, people got away with this for a while because the market was increasing so much that they bet on that increase in appreciation to buy those properties at a higher price that they probably shouldn't have, but they did. Fix and flip is still around, and working with wholesalers is still around. So these are who you're working with right now, are the people that are going to do fix and flip, but it's going to be a tighter deal, and then sell into other wholesalers that have a bigger cash buyer database is at the bottom there, typically, because these are running out with the other wholesalers. And so you gotta be able to make sure that you're getting these properties at a discount. Okay.
That's it. So how are we framing our communication with the people that, for instance, in the astro flipping community, a lot of us do deals with agents, right? Now, the beautiful thing is real estate agents right now are extremely aware of what's happening in the market because their phones aren't ringing the way that they were ringing months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so realtors right now are really ripe to have a conversation to try to get a deal under contract. So what we've been finding a lot of success with is going after those properties that have been listed on the MLS for 30 days or longer, right? These houses that have been listed for 30 days or longer that are overpriced. You call that agent and you have a conversation with that realtor and you just come to terms with them. You say, look, interest rates are creeping up towards 7%. Obviously, your seller was very bashful when they told you to list the property at this price. I ran the comps, and it looks like you've got this house listed as though it's been remodeled, but looking at the pictures, it doesn't quite look like it has been. So my question is to you, is your seller ready to come to reality on the price that they're ready to accept on this house? And that's just an honest conversation. You're not throwing anybody under the bus. You're not telling the realtor that they're dumb for listing it at that price. You're just speaking truth, and you're meeting them from a place of understanding. And they're either going to tell you my seller is just not prepared yet to come to reality, or that my seller is ready to look at an offer. And look at this. Out of the conversations that I've personally had, if you go to Secret Agent Challenge day number 4 it was, or 5, the last day, okay? Secret Agent Challenge 2.0, the last day I did it, you guys can hear a conversation that I had with an agent.
Crushed it.
This realtor.
Everybody told me you
oh
went
my
bananas.
gosh, it was bananas. The realtor was, I had the agent up against the ropes. He was like, Jamil, just send me an offer. Just whatever that offer is, just send it to me.
But I think that that's an important thing, is not just going in at the offer at what it's listed for, but getting it far under.
Significantly below listed price.
Give us a percent.
So look, I'm saying that if you're not coming in at least 50 to 70,000 below what the house is listed at, there's very unlikely that you're going to have an opportunity there. Right? So of course, run the numbers, and 50 to 70, that was just such a, like, if you're in LA, that's not going to work. And if you're in Alabama, that's not going to work. But in Phoenix, that's what I'm saying. You're going to really need to be at a great margin. So let's just say, for instance, here in Arizona, 70% of ARV is where I was buying for a cosmetic fixer. Today, 62.
Right.
For a cosmetic fixer.
Explain to people, is that minus rehab?
No.
Just 62.
62% of ARV. That's where
say that again, because people are going to say 62 minus
62% of ARV is where Keegley is buying a cosmetic remodel right now in Arizona. Okay. If it's a full gut, will be likely around 45% of ARV. Okay. So guys, you're going to need to start getting deeper discounts. That's just what it is. You're not going to get away with selling a house that's worth $400,000 for $300,000 anymore. It's just not going to happen. Okay, that house is going to need to trade at like $280,000. You starting to do the math? You starting to understand? You're going to need to be about 10% lower than where you were last month to try to get the deals under contract. And believe me, these real estate agents are ready to have these conversations. Now, homeowners may be a little bit different.
Yep.
Because homeowners, they're not as sensitive to the market because they may or may not be watching the right news channels. They may or may not be watching any news. They may or may not be involved in the financial markets at all. And so all they're still stuck on is, wow, the housing market is hot. And so for a lot of you guys going direct to seller, you're going to have a slightly uphill battle because you are going to need to educate the homeowners. But a simple Google search, right? Educating the homeowner to just make a simple Google search to see where the real estate market is right now will bring sellers back to reality, guys. Okay, reality is that houses are definitely going to sit on the market a little bit longer, that fewer buyers are going to be able to afford these properties because the rates are higher, and therefore a cash offer today is so much more necessary than it was 60 days ago. So the wholesaler has become the agent or the seller's friend again.
That's it.
Welcome home.
Welcome
wholesalers.
home, baby.
Welcome home.
Well, and just to touch on your point about the MLS, guys, I highly suggest you look at these properties. You want to see who's really sweating right now are vacant properties that are not remodeled.
Yep.
Okay. Because they thought they could put it out. They're in a good area. Somebody's going to pick it up. They're going to put a bunch of money into it. And then they're going to have a really nice house. That is not it. That is ended. That is not people. The buyers are not going after those properties anymore. They want significant discounts. They're getting all nervous about it. They don't want to pick up a property and all of a sudden there's an adjustment of 10% or something in the market. Like that's what's going on in the minds of the investors that would be picking up those properties. So go after those, get them deeply discounted. They still want to buy. And then the interesting thing that Noah talked to me about, and it was what we were talking about before the show, was the buyers. Some of the biggest buyers in every single market have been chilling. They've been seeing this go bananas. They're like, you know what? We're wealthy. We're fine. We're going to wait until things kind of settle down a bit. They're going to start coming back into the fold. They're going to replace the buyers that have exited that had bad strategies when the market shifted. So, and that's, and really all that's happened is this. We're going to have a 90-day to 180-day weird place, a little wiggly, kind of turbulent time where the buyers are puckered up and the sellers still want the world.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then until that settles down, you gotta really talk to these property owners and going direct to seller. When somebody else outbids you, you need to talk to that seller every single week to make sure that they didn't cancel that deal, because there's going to be a 50-50 shot that most of those deals are going to be, 50-50 that those deals are going to be canceled, and you can come when and get them when they're realistic.
So interesting that Brent says this, because my phone has rang all week from agents bringing me deals that wholesalers canceled on in the last couple of weeks. And I get to name my price. I literally am naming my price right now. I'm like, well, you came to me before and I gave you a number and I would have closed on it at that number 60 days ago, but we're not there anymore. And today the price is different than the price was yesterday.
And guess what? If they need to sell, if they really want to sell this property, they're going to take it, because they've gotten so much equity in this buildup over the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
It's been a 10-year, just in the last 2 years, it's gone like, a hockey stick type of thing. You know what I mean? So it's exciting. There's a lot of equity in our market. And there's a lot of people that just need to get rid of their property. So match up those two. Find people that have equity and find the people that are realistic with the price, and you'll still make a fortune.
Josh McCabe asked, is a cosmetic flip just carpet and paint, or carpet, paint, kitchen, and bath? Josh, great question. It is absolutely carpet, paint, kitchen, and bath. Okay, so a carpet and paint is not a remodel. The bottom line is that a seller or a buyer today, especially with rates being a little bit higher and there being a little bit more inventory to choose from, they are going to absolutely be pickier than they've been in the last 90 days or the last few months. So you're going to need to be replacing kitchen cabinets. You're going to need to be putting in high-end stone in the countertops. You're going to need to be replacing all of the fixtures and tile and everything else in the primary bathrooms. The crappy remodels that I've been seeing people getting away with over the last few months will no longer be okay. All right. That's not going to sell any longer. You're actually going to need to do a good job in your rehab. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Josh, cosmetic is carpet, paint, kitchen, and bath. The things that a cosmetic remodel don't include are roofs, electrical, plumbing, foundation, fire, right? These big ticket items, those are known as full gut remodels because you're going to need to get behind the walls. You're going to need to do more involved renovations that are going to be a little bit farther beyond than just your carpet, paint, tile, and kitchens.
By the way, send some love to Pace. He ate something weird, so he's dealing with that. So send some love to Pace, and he'll be back next week. I'm sure he'll be back tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, he doesn't stay down long. He doesn't stay down long, and I've been telling him to stay away from booty, but he doesn't stop.
That's right. Well, that's his thing, you know. There was a good question there. Somebody was saying that they have made 150 calls. Here we go. Earth baby. Cold call about 150 properties. 75% of those properties, the number emails I obtained from skip tracing did not work. How can I change that? Real curious, Earth baby, where you did your skip tracing. I'd be curious to see if you got it from batch skip tracing. But I doubt it too. And I would just remember that with batch skip tracing, the first number is 88% of the time correct. The second number is 10%. That's 98% between the first and second number. We only upload the first two numbers when we're making our calls because I don't want to be calling a bunch of dead numbers. So make sure that you make that adjustment. I'm not sure what you're doing with the emails. Do you have any students that email direct to seller and get deals? Do you know anybody in this industry that emails direct to seller and gets deals? No. I don't know a single one. No. I know some people that do the emails to build an avatar, to build audiences in Facebook. That's a strategy there, but I wouldn't put too much of your efforts into email direct to the property owners.
So I've been working with this company that's been doing some data aggregation.
Okay.
And much like Audantic, these guys are looking at what series of unfortunate events had to take place prior to a house going up for sale. And what they're doing is they're looking at all of the properties in America, and they're seeing which of these properties in America are also have those same series of unfortunate events so that they can predict a potential sale.
Yeah.
So I know that Audantic is extremely expensive.
Yes.
Right?
And they're only in certain markets.
What does that typically cost?
30 grand minimum.
Oh yeah. So I'm working with a company right now that's doing AI at a high level.
Love it.
And they may be able to deliver those types of lists at like $500.
Love it.
So guys, stay tuned because I'm putting together something for that. It's going to be really smart, but it's not available yet. How do we sweeten our offers to agents besides price? Higher EMD, less inspection. What other cool tricks? Ooh, Robin, you were speaking my love language.
Look at that great picture.
Yeah, was that
just
your
tucked up, looking great?
What a professional!
Look at that bow tie.
Love
Go to your appointments like that.
He would get all the houses.
That's great.
If Robin Perez showed up at my house in a tuxedo and said, "I want to buy your house," I'd say, "Give me the contract."
I'd be like, let's have a conversation.
Also, take me to prom.
Yeah.
So, Robin, what are you going to say to an agent to make them want to deal with you? Well, first and foremost, be professional, right? They want to know that they're working with somebody who understands what they're doing. So I get calls because I have a proof of funds that I provide to people from my own personal funds.
Yep.
And I get calls from realtors who are asking to verify the proof of funds.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've been hearing from realtors is, hey, your buyer or your client is saying that your proof of funds is cash. Guys, if you are providing a proof of funds to somebody, that's going to be a loan. Even though it's a hard money loan, it's still considered financing. So you can't write your offer as a cash offer if you're going to be providing something other than a bank statement. If you're going to be using a proof of funds letter, that's still a financed offer. Even though it's cash or even though it's hard money, it is still a financed offer. So first and foremost, knowing what you're talking about is really important. Secondly, okay, EMD is absolutely important. Make sure that you are coming in with a significant earnest deposit, whether that's $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, depending on your market. Make sure that you're coming with something that looks substantial. Some of these markets, people get away with a $10 or $100 EMD. Come in with $1,000, right? Make your offer look sweet. Shorter inspection periods are always good, but guys, be careful of overusing the shorter inspection, because remember, when you do a 5-day inspection and you can't get your deal done and then you're canceling because you didn't have enough inspection time, that's going to look really bad. You're going to really burn a lot of bridges with real estate agents. Make sure that you're building in a long enough inspection so that you can actually get the deal done. I hate seeing deals canceled because people didn't have enough time. Another thing that you can do to incentivize a realtor is have them represent you, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Don't insert an outside agent or don't insert a buyer's agent into the conversation. Go directly to the listing agent. Let them double end the deal, right? You incentivize them with double the commission. Think of how great that is, right? It's a 2-for-1. So that is another excellent way that you can incentivize a realtor to want to work with you. Other times, if you're gonna actually fix and flip the house, give them the listing on the other side, right? Give them another opportunity to work with you, because that's always helpful. Another way that I've incentivized real estate agents is I've told them that once we do a transaction, I'd like to bring them into my office so that we can see how we can work together on a deeper level, because we do so many transactions. I want to build a deeper relationship with that realtor. And that incentive is really interesting because they want to have a client that they do more deals with.
You're hitting on everything you said, I think, is the 20% of the 80-20. The 80 that is your superpower, certainty and likable.
Absolutely.
Certainty and likable. I am telling you, your tone of voice and your confidence and your stature and your communication with that agent is the 80. The 20,
yep.
That's a lot. I mean, you just that was a lot that you put out there and a lot to set up, and that was stuff that you've learned over and put it all together into a clean package.
Right.
And that's the perfect way to do it. But that 80% is you on the phone. I mean,
yeah.
you on the phone, you having those conversations, that role play we did the other week. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. But there's that confidence there. There's that kindness there.
Yes.
That's that optimism there.
Yes.
That's that we're going to do a lot of business here.
Yes.
It's the personality that you bring to the conversation and being available and fast with your communication.
Absolutely.
Answering texts fast, jumping on the call, actually calling them when you send your offer package.
Correct.
Building a relationship, doing all these things. You'd be surprised. People will just give you deals because they like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't even have to give them the full blown package every single time. Now it's good to have it, but it's your confidence. It's you going out there and being certain.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. I love it. So that's the other cool tricks part of that, Robin. But
it's just being a genuinely cool person, right? Hey, try out some jokes.
Right.
Try being funny.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I disarm so many real estate agents by just starting the conversation with a funny line or a funny way to just break the ice. I mean, guys, these are human beings, right? Human beings on the other end of the line. They're not robots. And so if you can gain rapport by just being nice, by being friendly, you'll see how far it takes you.
That's it. There's a good question there, Matt. If you'll go back, you kind of just moved off of where I was at. But there's a question about I called 2 property owners today, and they wanted $30,000 over Zillow. Great. That's fantastic. You pulled out the price. Remember, you need to find out 3 more things. There's 4 things, the 4 pillars of pre-qualifying. Do you have that on a button real quick, Matt? The 4 pillars, just so that everybody can have it. It's fine. I said what it is. Here it is. The property condition, their timeline to sell it, their motivation to sell it, and their price. If you're just hitting them right off the bat with how much will you take for this, they're going to go all the way up. You need to find out more information. Is this property in beautiful condition and they should put it on the market for $30,000? Great. That's not your lead. That's the other 143 million properties that are too nice for us to work with. All right. We're looking for those 14 million, right? We're looking for those properties that have some rust on them. They need some love, right? They need some
Absolutely.
renovation in this market. When the hedge funds start tightening up, and you can't just sell them these beautiful properties anymore, you got to go back to old school of ugly houses, big checks.
Yeah, guys, let's also think about this, right? Because here's something that I've seen a lot of. I get hundreds of DMs every week, and people say, Jamil, I got a deal for you. And then they send me this house that's been fully remodeled.
On the market.
It's on the market. It's been available for 90 days, overpriced by $50,000. And they send it to me, and they're like, what do you think? Well, guys, where's the potential, right? Let's go back to basics and look at every wholesale opportunity as where is the potential. Remember, wholesaling is selling potential. We identify potential in a property, and then we sell a portion of that potential for a profit. That's it. That's all that wholesaling is. And so if you're looking at a property and there's no opportunity to increase the potential of the property, there's no deal there. That's called a house. Not a deal. That's a house.
Well, and what's a lead? A lead is somebody that has made the decision that they're going to sell. This is one of the biggest issues that I ran into personally when I was starting out, is I thought everything was a lead.
Right.
I thought that I could convince people. I could, through the right words and the right sound and the right, conversation, I could really find out what was going on there. And what I found was that I was spinning my wheels because I was trying to convince people that it's a great time to sell or to take a cash offer as opposed to putting it on the market or whatever else, right? You need to pre-qualify, and you have to understand, does this person actually want to sign the deed? Have they made that decision? They've made that decision that they're going to sign the deed to their property to somebody else. And if they have, that's an actual lead. The issue that we run into is we say, hey, would you consider an offer on your property? And people go, yeah, of course. How much will you give me? And then you go, I don't know. Tell me about the property. And then they go, well, if you're not going to give me $280,000 for it, we can end this conversation right now. And on Zillow, it's $250, right? That's not a lead.
No,
that's not a lead. I mean, you could pull in a little bit and find out the condition, find out what's going on there. But the further you go with that conversation and they start stiff arming you and putting that force field even fatter around them, because they're like, wait a second, I'm just wasting my time with this person calling me right now, but I'll just see what they're going to offer me. It happens all the time. Get rid of the looky-loos. Get rid of the people that aren't serious, especially right now. There's too many other people that we can help out to not waste our time working with people that'll never do business with you.
Love it.
Right?
Love it.
I mean, it's just that's what you have to figure out. Have they made the decision that they want to sell, and is it an ugly house?
Now, Brent, you and I both were active in the real estate market at the lowest point of real estate after the crash. In 2009, Brent and I were both wholesaling a large volume of property here in Arizona. Okay. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that wholesaling is rampant when the market crashes. Wholesaling is rampant when the market is going up. Wholesaling is rampant when the market is going down. You will always have an opportunity to wholesale. And guys, my profits were great. I was making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on those wholesale deals.
I didn't even know I was wholesaling. What would happen is that, and by the way, just to let everybody know, when in 2009 and 10, when I was bidding at the foreclosure auction, there was 1,200 foreclosures a day. Right now, there's 1,200. I looked it up today. In Arizona, the whole state, there's only 1,200 pre-foreclosures. The whole state.
Wow.
This is not that market.
Nope.
This is not that market.
Nope.
But what I will say is, back in the day, you would just bid at the auction. If you won the auction, you talk to the neighbor next to him, and they'd pay you $20,000 to get that property.
That's it.
Wholesale.
That's it. And I mean, that's what it is, right, guys? There's plenty of opportunity, even when markets start to shift. And so, guys, remember, the reason why we have this episode today is to get back to basics, right? Take the time to underwrite. When your seller responds or gives you a counter and the price is $50,000 more than what you offered, it's not the time to lock the deal up. That's the time to pull away. That's the time to say, you know what? We aren't in that market right now, and unfortunately, I can't get to that price. But let me know if you find an opportunity, or if you find that you come to my number. I'd be happy to work with you in the future, and then keep following up, because they're not going to get that price. They're not going to get that number, and even if they do get a contract at the price they're looking for, it's not going to close.
We miss you too, Pace. Hope he's watching.
Yes.
Yeah, or sleeping. getting risked. Yeah, I don't know. There's a comment that the foreclosures are on hold. I don't know if foreclosures are on hold. Are foreclosures on hold?
No, the moratorium on foreclosures has ended.
Ended a long time.
It ended a long time ago.
Where's
so no,
the floodgate?
No, it didn't.
Why not?
Because everybody has equity.
Right.
Guys, the people who couldn't make their mortgage payment during the pandemic, you know what they did? They got a loan modification.
Yep.
They have
or
they sold their house. That was it. They didn't go into foreclosure. And so the people screaming gloom and doom that were telling you that they were going to get this incredible amount of foreclosures to come after the pandemic was over, guess what? They got it wrong. That's it.
Do you consider Zillow and Redfin hedge fund buyers?
I do not consider either of them hedge fund buyers. I say that Redfin is more of a prop, is like a prop tech company. They are in the business of being real estate agents and giving people, I know that they were getting into lending and they were getting into other parts of the real estate game, but Redfin was never a purchaser. Zillow tried to be a purchaser and they did a bad job of it. And so they ended up actually exiting the market, not because the market shifted, but because they shit to the bed.
Right.
All right. Now, the people that are actually continuing to buy is still Blackstone. You still got major hedge funds continuing to buy up American Homes for Rent. You know, they've got their debt locked in at 3% for the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they're doing is turning up the volume on purchases. So guys, hedge fund buyers aren't all leaving. Some of them are.
They're just getting tighter.
They're just getting tighter.
They're getting tighter. Yep. This is great. How does the current environment affect vacant land deals? What is the market looking for new builds? What does that mean? So are you saying that you can't, that you were able to sell land deals before and now they're not selling?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because guys, here's what's happening, right? Inflation absolutely increased the price of all the building material, and the rates are so high right now that building construction is actually more expensive than it ever has been. The builders don't have an idea of where pricing is going to land at, so it's too speculative for them to want to do starts. So the rates are too high. They don't know where prices are going to land. Inflation has not come down, so the materials are still high, and there's still a lack of people, so the labor is still super expensive. And so right now, new construction is actually, in my opinion, if you look at the current data right now, housing starts have completely grinded to a halt. Okay, which is going to put even more pressure on our real estate market because, guys, the supply problem hasn't magically stopped. Just because we have a market shift didn't just dump millions of houses into the market. That's not what happened. Okay, what happened is people were priced so high and now they're having to reduce because they got to come back to reality.
Right.
Okay, and then people being priced out of the market, that stops them from putting their house on the market to sell. If new construction's not happening and if people are priced out of the market, what is that going to do to inventory ultimately? It's going to reduce it. Okay, so you are not going to get a crash in price.
Yep.
You're going to get a flattening in price, but a crash in price, I don't see it.
I think there's probably certain price points that people are going to cry that
there's a little bit of
the like million to like 700,000 where they're not really $1,000,000 to $700,000 properties.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're going to take a hit. I don't think ultra luxury takes a hit.
No.
I don't think the first time home buyer takes a hit price. It's that kind of middle ground. That's like that step up, you know, where it's that 7 to $1 million. That's what I've been seeing. Danielle asked, Brent, can you repeat what you said about the top 3 hard money lenders in your market? Call and ask them what again? Ask them what their buyers are looking for real. Ask them what their buyers are looking for. What kind of properties do you see that you're giving the loans for? Right? Are they fix and flip? Are they rental portfolio? Are they BRRRR? Are they Airbnbs? Don't just take our word for it. This is just what's going on in our experience and from the conversations that we've had with the people that we mastermind with. But what I'm telling you is go test it out in your market and find out what is your what's going on with your buyer base in your market. The hard money lenders are the tip of the spear because most of the time, what do you think? 90% of the time people aren't coming in full cash out of their account. They're getting hard money. They're getting private money. They're getting something.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And you know, what's interesting when we had that conversation with Redfin, the thing that we found was that what caused this big spike in pricing was America migrating. And guess what, guys? The migration hasn't stopped.
No.
Okay. They are still leaving California. They're still leaving Chicago. They're still leaving New York. And they're still going to Florida. They're still coming to Arizona. This migration pattern that caused this big spike in property value isn't ending. And they are still leaving these really high-priced markets, coming in with a lot of cash. And so those buyers are still available.
Yep. Awesome. Nathan asks, how do you show properties to your buyers if the seller will be at the appointment because they wouldn't give you access without them being there? 2 words.
Drug them.
Cinnamon rolls.
Yes. No. Don't
Same
drug
thing.
them. Yes. You guys.
Drug them with
Yes,
cinnamon
yes.
rolls.
I've talked about this in the past on my Instagram, and I have done this magically by coming in with a gift for the seller, right? So you show up 10 or 15 minutes early before any of your buyers get there, and you find out from your seller what treat they like. Do they like cinnamon rolls? Do they like cookies? Do they like coffee? You show up with that treat, you bring it to your seller, and you have a great conversation with them before your buyers arrive. And you say, in about 10 minutes, my people are going to be here, and we're going to very quickly walk through the property. We won't touch anything. We're just going to take some pictures. We're going to take some measurements, and we'll be out of your hair before you finish this cinnamon roll. And then do exactly that.
Yep. Awesome. Amy, great question here. What would you tell someone new in real estate to start with? Has someone new missed the boat to do a buy and hold? Well, it depends on your strategy, Amy. Here's the thing. If you want to be a full-time real estate entrepreneur, then I highly suggest you learn how to source discounted properties first. Spend your first 12 months finding wholesale properties, finding these opportunities, because you're going to build a system around doing that, and you're going to always get the best opportunities. Okay. Now, if you just want to do this on the side, you just want to do kind of the bigger pocket style where you kind of house hack, or you just kind of build a portfolio for long term, but you want to keep your job or your profession, whatever, you love what you're doing, that's a whole different thing. Just make sure that you're buying real deals. Make sure whenever you're looking at a rental property, you take 40%. Listen to me, 40% off the top of rents. If you can still make it happen at 60% of the rental income, you're going to have a decent deal there. Yep. But take 40% off the top. I would highly suggest that you buy in good school districts, good areas, until you build up your wealth. And then you could go and buy and build affordable housing, right? And build in some of these areas that you can, and you really have a lot of momentum behind you. But I think if you start there, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
This actually brings up a great point, because what I've seen a lot of people really flocking to right now is multifamily and small multifamily. And why is that? Because in times like this, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Value on multifamily is determined by cap rate, not comps. Cap rate, not comps. Get it? So although we have higher percentages, we have higher interest rates, guess what else increased dramatically? Rent. And rent's not going anywhere, guys. Rent is not going to just magically decrease. You think landlords are all of a sudden going to say, hey, I can get $2,000 a month, but I'm just going to go down to $1,200 because I'm nice? Doesn't happen, right? So the house hack, in fact, looking for opportunities for fix and flippers that have ADUs, guest house, opportunities for their end buyer to have a revenue play, somebody to help them with their mortgage, will help that property sell faster. So go out and look for those opportunities for your fix and flip clients, because it'll help them make an exit when they're selling that property. We're doing one right now in Central Phoenix that has an ADU. And that,
what is an ADU?
An additional dwelling unit, where
a guest house,
where what they can do is they can actually, and we renovated that portion of the property.
Yeah.
So it's got a full kitchen suite. It's got a bedroom and a bathroom. Now that rental can actually get around $2,000 a month. This property is in the $800,000, $900,000 mark. $2,000 a month is nearly half the mortgage payment.
Yep.
You've now made that property extremely affordable for somebody to buy. In fact, the main house could rent for $5,000 a month. Somebody could buy that house, put a renter into the main house for $5,000 a month, and cash flow and live for free in the ADU. You guys got to start thinking creatively. Heidi asked, with more and more families moving in with each other and buying homes with ADUs, how do you adjust a comp if it's zoned single family? Well, Heidi, the fact is that an ADU, if a house is zoned single family, it doesn't mean they can't have an ADU.
Right.
You can still have a guest house in a single family. It's just it's not going to be on its own parcel. It's not going to be a multifamily house. So you have to understand that. Now, you don't adjust the comps based on that. Okay. As I've always said, appraisers are only going to give you 50% of value for an ADU or a basement. That's still going to always be the case. But these properties are going to be more desirable for your fix and flip clients. So you don't adjust your comps. You actually go after those properties right now because they're going to be more desirable properties in the future.
Nathan, we've all been here, buddy. How do you handle angry people when you called? I hung up on one after he asked me my name and where I was from. It felt wrong, but I was worried he would try to find me and sue or something. Yeah, Nathan, I mean, listen, worst case scenario, they track your phone, right? They drive over to your house. They knock on your door. You answer it,
and it's Liam Neeson.
and they shoot you in the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Nathan, I get it. It's very difficult to make people angry. It's very difficult to interrupt somebody's day. It goes against all the instincts that you have in as a tribal society to not be an outcast and to feel that. You have to understand, what are you trying to accomplish with this? If it's just, I want to call these people to make money, this will always infect your mind. It'll be poison and you won't do it. You won't be proactive. If you understand that there is 6 to 10% of the real estate market out there that is in distress and they're not going to be served by real estate agents typically, and they're not going to get help from family. They have nowhere else to turn to. They're looking for an opportunity here to get the stress out of their life. That's the only time that we do deals. Those are the only people that work with us. And it's wildly rewarding to understand and to help these people out and to actually listen to them, because most people won't. So it just depends on what you're going towards.
And Nathan, you got to remember that this person that you call that got angry at you, they're not angry at you.
No.
They're angry, right? They're going through shit. They had a hard day, right? They're just, everybody's projecting what's going on in their own life. And you just happen to come there and be there when that person was frustrated and angry about whatever is going on, right? So what do I do when I come across somebody that's angry? I mentally bless them and I hope that whatever it is that's plaguing them fixes itself, and I move on. I don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with you. This person doesn't even know you, right? And so you just gotta be okay with it. You just gotta say, you know what? I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I didn't mean to disturb you, sir or ma'am. Take care.
Yep.
And move on to the next person. That's it. It's easy peasy. You don't gotta hang up. In fact, if you're so kind to somebody who's angry, guess what sometimes happens? They say, I'm so sorry. I didn't really need to be a jerk to you.
Yep.
What are you calling about? Right. A lot of times people will just do an about face because they're like, wait, hold on a second. You're not a jerk back to me. That's strange. Okay. Let me think about it real quick for a moment as to why I'm being so nasty to you. And the other side of that too, Nathan, is gamify your nose, gamify the people, like, make it a game, make it something fun. Like, how about you give yourself a treat every time somebody swears at you, right? Go have a Snickers bar or something, right? Make it so that you're not being punished when somebody is punishing themselves. Because I trust me, that person that's being nasty on the other side of the line, they're punishing themselves. That anger, that hatred, that meanness, that's just that they got to live in that, man. You get to hang up the phone. You get to carry on with your day and be a cool dude. That person's going to sit there in that trashy attitude.
And listen, I mean, like you said, gamify it. I always, when I was making calls, I always said to myself, $1,000 an hour, $1,000 an hour, $1,000 an hour.
Yep.
And I tell my students, if I stood behind you and every hour that you made a call, I gave you 10 crispy $100 bills, because that's the amount of value that you're putting out into the marketplace. You're not just scared. You're not just sitting there. You're not being silent. You're trying to help in these situations. If I give you $1,000 an hour every hour, I would have to tear everybody off the phone.
Yeah.
Nobody has a problem of that mean, nasty person that they just talked to. They'd be like, next. Okay. I couldn't help them out right now. That's it.
That's just it.
Yep. Boom.
Alexander asked, Jamil, on an assignment fully executed with EMD, can the assigner say, hey, a hedge fund is going to pay us more, tough luck, and hang up? I don't know if I'm reading this right, or are we missing words? So Alex, if I am understanding this correctly, you've already got a deal. You've got a fully executed
might be the
assignment.
buyer.
You might be the buyer,
Mhm.
and you might have EMD in already. And now the person you got the deal from is saying that a hedge fund is going to pay them more, and they hang up on you, bro. Whoever that person is has no idea how to do business. And trust me, you're saving yourself a ton of headache by blacklisting that person and not doing business with them. But I mean, look, if you've got earnest money in and you've got a fully executed assignment, they don't have the right to get you out of the deal. You can call the title company and say, wait, hold on a second. I'm in contract here and I'm not getting out of contract here. So I don't care what this person thinks that they can just cancel on me. They can't, because I'm in contract. So that's what I would do. I would call the title company and I would say, I don't know what's going on with this seller. They think that they can get me out of this contract, but you've got my EMD and I have a fully executed assignment here. I'm going to let crazy be crazy, but when's close? That's it.
Once you assign the deal.
Yeah, it's over. They're not in the deal anymore. You control the contract.
Yep. So if you control it, Alexander, then you tell them tough luck, right? And then if you're trying to sell it to a hedge fund because you sold it to somebody else already and you assigned it and they got their earnest money and they have not breached the contract, you do not want to get an attorney involved. It's just going to waste your time. It's going to be a huge distraction, and attention is a critical resource, the most critical.
Absolutely.
So don't put your attention on, I assume that you were the one that got it assigned to him. I love Jason Lombardi. It's just the best. Nathan, please send me this lead. Hostile sellers is my bread and butter. I'm telling you, he's great. He's great. Yeah. He's doing phenomenal. That's absolutely incredible. So, when you assign a deal, it's done. It's done. So there you go. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. So Alex said, yeah, I had under contract, fully executed. No, I had the assignment.
Right. He had the assignment.
Yeah. You're still in contract. To him. You're still in contract, bro.
Yep.
You're still in contract.
That was a good one.
Jamil, do you have an updated map showing the current percentage of ARV? Yeah, Donovan, I absolutely do. That's something that my Astro flipping students actually exclusively get. If you are in communication with somebody in Astro and you want to get access to that, they can send it to you. Squad up with someone in Astro and you can absolutely get that.
How would you advertise for buyers? Here we go. Ramon asks, if I have a deal under contract, how should I advertise it to buyers?
Well, great question, Ramon. First and foremost, if you have a deal under contract, I would hope that you were in contact with your buyers prior to getting the deal so that you knew where the deal needed to be locked up. But if that's not the case and you know you've got a good deal, there's a few ways that you can sell a contract. You can get a hold of a local Keegley in your area and they can help you dispo the deal. You can squad up with somebody and let somebody in the comments know where your contract is, and somebody in the comment section here can help you. You can reach out to a Astro flipping student. You can reach out to a sub 2 student. You can go to tax records and you can scrape the tax records and you can find out who's buying cash transactions in your local area and skip trace those people and get their phone numbers and call them. You can go to the MLS and you can see who has just recently listed a flip property in my area or in the area where this property is located. And you can get their phone number by skip tracing them and let them know that you've got a property for sale. You can also go to Zillow, the For Rent website, and see who owns rentals near where this property is located. And you can find out who those LLCs are and skip trace them and call them. You can also go to real estate agents who are representing people who have flip properties, and you can call them and say, do you have any investors right now looking for fix and flip properties? I mean, I can go on and on and on. No, you can go to LinkedIn and you can see who is a real estate investor that's active, and you can reach out to them and see if they're looking for any cash properties. You can go to Facebook and you can do the same. There is a number of fix and flip Facebook groups as well as wholesale Facebook groups that you can find a buyer in. Should I keep going?
I think you got. I think you gave him enough to go on. He only needs one.
Oh,
you only need one buyer for each deal. But yeah, that's absolutely incredible. Right here, Aideen, Brent at talktopeople.com.
My email?
Yeah.
JamilDamji@gmail.com.
There you go.
Yes.
Send it over to us. Love to take a look. Do you mind if I go over the 10 skills real quick?
Please.
All right, guys, this is so critically important. It's something that I talked about last week on the Wednesday live show that I do at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time every Wednesday. The Ugly House's Big Check Show. It's also, I had the fortune to speak in front of the incredible mastermind, the Astro Flipping Mastermind, about these 10 skills.
There's these guys over here. Can we see them?
Yeah. Get some. Whoop. There they are. Hey, there's some of them.
Get in there.
Get in there.
Get in there.
Hey. There we go. There's some of them. All right. So you guys already know this stuff, but this is just for everybody else. Can you put up the 10 skills, please? Guys, you can download this at ttpinsider.com, TTP Insider. But I'm telling you, these 10 skills are going to be critical as we move forward into this new market. I am telling you, the days of just not having any skills, locking up these deals and selling them are over. And if you get these down, you are going to be unstoppable. There's 10 main skills. I want you to test yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at with time management, your lead generation methods, your referral database, your phone skills and communication, pre-qualifying both buyers and sellers, property valuations, comps, which Jamil was just talking about, lead follow-up, handling objections, offer presentation and closing, negotiating with your buyers and sellers, and focusing and starting over new every single day. I'm telling you guys, do have an honest approach to this. Like, really go, and if you've never done it before, put a 1. If you're the master at it, put a 10. But at 70%, at a C average here, if you get 70 out of 100 total points, you should be closing a deal every single month minimum.
And to give you guys perspective, I consider myself very good at comping property, and I'd give myself an 8.
So there's some perspective there. So download that. That's at ttpinsider.com, guys. Really focus. Have it in front of you all the time. And really, if you are a one-person show or if it's a partnership and you're starting out, figure out where your weaknesses are so that you can really focus on them to get them up over this next 90 to 180 days so that you are just absolutely running on full steam, right? A ton of momentum behind you with those 10 skills. I am telling you, these 10 skills are going to be critical. They're going to be absolutely critical as you move forward. And now that you know of all 10 of them, you can rate yourself and improve. There you go.
Hey, Aideen Ibrahimi, also send me a DM on IG for that fourplex in Phoenix, because that might be a quicker way to get me. I don't look at my email.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Do you have somebody look at your email?
Yeah.
Filter your email?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's a lot of attention, right?
Yeah.
Remember an email was like, you got to go to your email all day,
How
every
many
day?
unread emails do I have?
66,176. 66,176. Yeah. That's just on your phone. Yep. Anyway.
I'm popular.
There you go. Do you have a Facebook group?
Yeah. What kind of Facebook group?
I don't know. Bend Over asked if you have a Facebook group. So what kind do you think? Hey, Ben, if that's your real name, that's wonderful. I assume it's not, but that's hilarious. Or not.
Yeah, we've got a few Facebook groups. There's a Wholesale Hotline Facebook group, guys. If you're a part of the Secret Agent Challenge, there's a Secret Agent Challenge accountability Facebook group where people are crushing it. We've got the TTP family has a Facebook group. Astro Flipping family has a Facebook group. Sub 2 has a Facebook group. Pace has a Creative Finance by Pace Morby Facebook group. I mean, there's great groups out there that you could join.
Hey, Jamil, Anna and Alex here.
Hi.
We have a deal under contract, and we want one of those big wholesale companies to dispo our deal. How do we go about executing this? Do I do a simple assignment?
Great question, Hater. So good to meet you. I know who you are, Alex. Great to see you. I see you're using your full name there. I love it. So it depends on where the deal is located. I imagine it's going to be in Palm Desert because that's where you guys are located. So there may or may not be a large wholesale operation that's actually operating in that part of the country. What I would do is I would reach out to people in the Sub 2 community and people in the Astro Flipping community and see if they've got a possible buyer for you out there, because I think you might have some better luck with just the student base. Another thing that you could do is reach out to Curtis Harvey, who I know, who does a tremendous amount of business in that part of the country. as well as a wholesaler that we've actually had on Wholesale Hotline before, Scott Oots. Scott Oots does a significant amount of business in the desert cities. He may be a great buyer for you out there as well.
Awesome. I want to talk about this, Marcus. So let me get this right. We're able to have a good deal if we get it locked up at 70% of ARV only. This is still a deal, not including the repairs. No,
Marcus.
All right. So let me break this down a little bit. You've got it by market, but I just do it a lot simpler. All right. Matt, will you pull it up? So this is typical. Let's get rid of this so everybody can see this, but this is going to be adjusted now. Okay. This right here. Can we make that big? There it is. If you pull it up, right, you Google the address of these properties. And if it's above 250,000, we've been at 66%. Go 60% now. I'm going to make this adjustment. If it's 249 to 100,000, go 45%. If it's 100,000 or less, go 20%. Now, Jamil does it a little bit more scientific with his percentages based on each of the different markets. But that should get you pretty close. They're usually within a couple thousand of each other if you look at it.
Brent and I, we've tested this theory before, guys, and we very often come to a very similar number in the different markets that we work in. So that's a great, quick and easy way.
Pull it up one more time
to do it.
Just take a screenshot of this, guys. It's in TTP Insider if you want to download it, but that's it. Google the address, find it, but it's going to be adjusted 60%, 45 and 20% now, maybe even a little bit lower. I'm going to test that in those properties that are under 100,000. But the reason there's difference in percentage there is because repair costs eats up. If a property is worth 100,000 and it needs 50,000, it's a bigger percentage than a property that's 500,000 and needs 50,000.
Correct.
Okay. So you need to make adjustments based on where you are doing business. All right. If you're in a market, this is why I highly suggest you go after properties that are above $150,000 because we typically make about 10% on our deals. Well, 15,000 is much bigger than if you just, you're in this, a property that's worth 30 or 40 or 50 or 60,000. Those properties you have to sell to turnkey rental property owners, or you have to sell it to somebody that's building a rental portfolio, maybe fix and flippers. But for the most part, the repair costs just eat up those lower price properties. And it just is.
My brain is still on a loop. I'm like, another place you can find buyers is Connected Investors, Bigger Pockets, YouTube comments.
Yeah. In here.
You can Google We Buy Houses in whatever city you're looking for and get a hold of whoever's paying a tremendous amount of money for Google ads over there and reach out to their acquisition person and wholesale them the deal. You can drive around your town and look for bandit signs, people who spend money to put signs up on telephone poles, and call that number and tell them you have a deal for sale and sell it to them.
Nick, just to clarify, that's for your max allowable offer. That's what you would offer them. Okay? That's not minus and minus and minus and minus. I just want to make it very simple. That's a ballpark number. See, what happens is I want you to get like a ballpark number so that you can know if this person's even close. If they are, then if you're really not certain on your numbers, squad up. Find somebody in your marketplace that wants to help you and really understand and does business in those areas. Split it for the first couple deals, whatever it is. Just find somebody that's going to guide you along and actually get you paid on these things so that you're not locking up things too high. Because right now, I'm telling you, if you lock things up too high, there's going to be a lot of headache dealing with those property owners that expected a certain price and you have to try to get it lower or cancel the deal. And I don't want you to go through that in your first deal or two, because then all of a sudden you get frustrated with it and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't, I don't want to do this anymore.
The ballpark right now in LA, that's a great thing. So it was at around 80%. It's come down a little bit right now. I'm saying it's going to be somewhere between 73 and 75.
Yep. There you go. Do you have the repair cost sheet? Do we have that too for bend over here?
I've been finding I've got some dollar per square foot for rehabs. So cosmetic right now is coming in around $40 a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
Full guts coming in around $60, $65 a square foot.
It's up.
New construction's coming in at around $135 to $150 a square foot.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And remember that there's three ranges, right? There's that cosmetic. There's
Yep.
there's like ones that's literally just carpet and paint, and then there's more of that like cosmetic. You're going to put some work into it that it's bad, but it's not too bad. And then there's the ones that are just totally trash.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Oh yeah, you can put it up there. And this is adjusted. Add 10K to all this. For real. If it's an easy remodel, minimum 30K. Needs work, 45K. Wow, this is bad, 60K. So adjust this up, okay? Adjust this up 10K for each one of these. Just exactly what Jamil was saying. It's just gone up. It's gone up. So adjust that 10K on each of those. Awesome.
Guys, remember to put your questions in the chat, and also 631 of you are watching this show right now across platforms, and only 37 of you have liked.
Total likes?
How many?
Oh. 100 likes. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
so 1/6 of you guys care to hit the like button. Come on, guys. We show up here for 123 weeks. The least you can do is give us a like, yo.
Manufactured housing, mobile home on a foundation. Good. Any differentiation on comping one of these properties?
Yeah, big time, big time, big time. So manufactured home
Big
sitting,
time.
big time, big time, big time, big time. So if it's on land that they own, okay? So it's on land that they own. It's on a foundation. First and foremost, it has to be after 1976. If it's built after 1976, you can comp it with other manufactured homes, okay, in the area. Again, following the same appraisal rules, make sure that the comp that you're using is a manufactured home as well, that it's no more than 5 to maybe 7 years older or newer than the subject property that you're comping against. But if it's pre-1976, guys, you cannot comp that with anything other than something that's pre-1976. And do you know why? Because any manufactured home built before 1976 cannot get financing. A hard money lender won't loan on it. A bank won't loan on it, meaning that it needs to be bought with cash. Now, what does that mean for your end buyer? Okay. You have a manufactured home, which we typically know the lower end spectrum of most housing markets are living in manufactured homes. I'm not saying that to be derogatory, and just saying it in a factual manner. Okay, it's the lowest price property in a marketplace is manufactured homes. Okay, now typically the people that are buying those homes are coming in with very little down, 3 to 5%. Why? Because they're in lower income brackets.
Yeah.
But if you've got a manufactured home built pre-1976 and they can't get financing on it, that means that they got to come in with what?
Cash.
All cash. How many people living in a mobile home do you know have $175,000 or $200,000 hanging around in the bank?
Investors. And they want deals.
Deals.
It's price point. Listen, yeah. If it's built before 1978, right? Not 76. 76. Those are good deals. I mean, some people buy those and they have really good cash flow on those properties if they're not completely destroyed. But you got to sell them. You got to sell them to cash buyers. They're going to want those huge discounts. But are you comping? You're just comping in the subdivision.
In the subdivision, I'm not leaving the manufacturer because look, every trailer park is different.
Yep. There's a great question here. Where did those? What was how much price per new construction?
$135 to $150 a square foot.
What
and that's
is
just
the difference?
Well, that
Market?
again, no, that's like contractor and market. Yes, that's like it. There's that range is. I've actually seen that range here in Phoenix. So I went because Shayna Farnsworth and I were building new construction for low income.
Yeah,
and we had multiple bids go out for those builds.
Yeah.
And the range we got was 135 to 150. Now, guys, this is like, vinyl flooring. This is like base material. Okay. This is not luxury stone. This is not hardwood. This is not going all out. If you're going to build in luxury, you're talking $250, $300 a square foot, even higher. Okay.
Love it. When is that done? When does that break ground? That's crazy.
Yeah, we
You've
haven't
been
broken
talking
ground.
about this forever.
I know it's slow, man.
It's a long process.
It's a very long process.
Well, and this comes up a lot because people run into fire damaged houses. Guys, when there's fire damaged houses, you got to figure out how much of that property has had fire damage and
Right.
what property. And typically with fire damage, it's going to be in the kitchen, typically.
Yeah.
You know, because it costs a lot more to replace a kitchen than it does a bedroom.
Or in the bedroom.
Hey-o. Your house. Hey, come on. But yeah, then you would take the amount of square footage and times that by 135, and you're going to get a good idea of what that section will cost. But typically, when you're redoing a fire damaged bedroom, you know, from all that action and friction and all that stuff, and all that heat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then you got to do the whole rest of the house that needs to be done as well.
Yeah.
So it's just at a lower, probably $40 a square foot for the rest of the house, and 135 to 150 for the fire damaged area. All right, there you go. Awesome. Let me give this one here, Clive. It's a bit off subject, but I'll ask again. How do you skip trace someone with their phone numbers are discontinued? They're in a home and nobody seems to know where. You need to get a hold of a family member. If this is somebody that is elderly, do not reach out to them in an elderly care home. You need to talk to somebody that has fiduciary duty. You need to find out who are the family members. And typically when you do a search, you can go to AmericanTracers.com. You can go to Upwork.com, find somebody that has a TLO account, a virtual assistant that usually gets a TLO account from like some attorney, and attorneys pay for that, or private detectives. And that's how you find, you know, the next of kin and or any family members, and try to reach out to them and see what's going on and see if they're ready to sell that property yet. And that's how you do it, Clive. You just get a little bit more creative and find family members. All right. You can also go into the neighborhood and knock on a door and see if somebody's there, or go on the weekend when maybe there's somebody there cleaning up stuff or organizing stuff, try to catch them live, or go talk to the neighbors and just see when somebody's coming by the property to check it out, or if one of them is a caretaker. Oftentimes one of the neighbors that they've lived around for a long time is a caretaker, and that's when you can start building that relationship and get the inside scoop and see if they want to sell. All right. There you go. Let me ask you this. How many wholesale deals are coming across? Are you seeing more or less or the same amount of like creative deals, right? Somebody locks up a creative deal, or they do a sub two, or they do owner financing or something. They lock it up. They don't want to necessarily keep that property. They want to sell it to get some income coming in. Is it the same? Is it less? Is more? What's going on right now?
We haven't really seen it pick up, although
Okay.
I do believe it's going to happen.
Why?
Well, because a lot of people locked in some pretty great rates for over the last, 5-6 years. And so if those people want full retail for their property, they're holding something very valuable, which is a 2.5% interest rate.
Right.
And so a lot of those deals are going to actually come to the market subject to, especially because of Pace Morby, because he's teaching a lot of people how to go out and get those opportunities. And I think that's great.
Yeah.
A lot of buy and hold investors are going to love those subject to deals if you can pick them up with low entry fees. And this is the one thing I want to remind you guys. And I'm so grateful that I had Pace speak at the mastermind with the Astro Flipping students over the weekend. And he said the only number he cares about is the entry fee. All right.
What's an entry fee?
How much money is it going to cost for an investor to get into the deal? Okay. So he wants low entry fee or no entry fee. Okay. And that's usually the most important thing to him. So if you're going to come to the marketplace with a sub 2 deal and they're asking for $100K down, $200K down, guys, that's not an opportunity, right? Low or no entry fee with a low interest rate mortgage attached, that's a great deal. Or owner finance over 30 years at 0%. He doesn't give a crap what the owner wants, what the seller wants to charge for the house. He'll do that kind of deal.
And what's a typical fee that people are making, wholesale fee on a creative deal?
I mean, it could be anywhere, right? If it's a great opportunity. I mean, I've seen Pace pay some substantial assignment fees.
Yeah.
I think he's got a deal right now that he's doing with an Astro Flipping student. He's going to give him $200K.
What?
Yeah. Because it was a big multifamily deal, like some and he got it at 0% interest over 40 years. Like, it was just ridiculous what kind of terms he was able to negotiate.
Well, then that's what's important about those is you either get a wholesale price or wholesale terms.
Exactly. And so there's, it really just depends on the opportunity. But guys, if you're not squatting up with people in the sub 2 community, you're messing up. Right? Because these guys are trained. They got knowledge on how to go and find these opportunities. Go and find out how can you do deals with them. If you got a trash seller that doesn't want to negotiate on price, I'm sorry, that's not a trash seller. Let me eat those words. If you got an unrealistic seller who just won't negotiate on price because they want the moon for their house, bring that deal to a sub 2 student and see if they can turn that into a creative deal. Right? I'm talking to you, TT Peters. I'm talking to you, Astro Flipper. Squad up with the sub 2 family and create opportunities out of those things.
Love it. And do you think that there's going to be more of those opportunities coming up because interest rates are going up, interest rates locked into these properties, these loans are higher? What about creative finance? What about seller financing?
Seller finance is great. And those deals are going to be available, and they haven't gone anywhere, and they'll continue to.
Why would somebody wholesale a seller finance deal? I mean, why wouldn't they just add it to their portfolio and build their wealth?
Great question. So why a lot of people do that is because if they could sell it, okay? So a lot of times what these people want is they want out. They don't want to deal with the stress of owning the property anymore. A lot of these guys are maturing in age, and they want to still get cash flow, but they don't want to have the headaches associated with property ownership. So what do? They elevate themselves from property owner to lender. All right. Now, if you give them this incredible price for their property and you spread it out over 30 years, what are they doing? They're holding themselves back from taking a tax hit by selling it to you.
Sure.
Right. So now, instead of paying taxes on all of the appreciation or all of the income that they gained on selling when they sold the property, they're now able to do it over time. They don't have a huge tax burden. And so it still allows them to get the same cash flow or better cash flow than they were getting. But now they're no longer the property owner. They're the lender. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but why would somebody lock up that deal and then just earn a wholesale fee and not add it to their portfolio?
Well, because a lot of people may not want to take on that obligation or that responsibility, right? Some people are averse to collecting leverage. For instance, I don't like having payments. Right. And so I may not take a sub 2 deal, or an owner finance deal, even if it makes a ton of sense. I would prefer to wholesale that opportunity to a buy and hold investor that would like to be a landlord. I don't want to be a landlord. I just want to be Lord.
That's it. Well, no, and I think that it's really important because I think that I truly believe this. I think as you're starting out, if you can focus on bringing in as much income as possible to replace your current income or to make you feel comfortable, it's like when you, Jameson, got your first $17,000 deal, right?
Yeah.
And that was like proof of concept. And that was something that really now you own 2 Keegley franchises, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you taking any of these deals off the board? Are you holding the portfolio of properties right now? Or are you just focusing on wholesaling? You've been in it 18 months.
Yeah, I'm just focusing on wholesaling right now. Just trying to build up my cash. I do have a development that I am working on, but right now it's just wholesaling, just trying to accumulate.
Why not add to your portfolio right now?
It's not a bad idea, right?
Well, I mean, I'm just, why haven't you?
Really, I just haven't found the right deal. I am looking for a multifamily. So if you guys got a multifamily out there, shoot it my way. I'm looking for stuff in Ohio and in Vegas.
Come here. Get in here.
What's up, Brent?
Let everybody know who you are.
I'm Stefan. I'm out of San Antonio. So if you have any cash deals, I do a lot out there. But just to answer your question, Brent, I've wholesaled like 5 sub 2 deals because when I was new, and cash buyers don't like sub 2 deals. They don't think like that. They think, hey, I need a cash discount. And one of the things that you got to account for is in the entry fee is that rehab budget. And so if you're new like I was, I didn't have the money to do a rehab. I couldn't commit to an entry fee. I couldn't pay the seller's down payment. I couldn't do any of those things at the time. But when I connected with some of my creative finance buyers, they were like, yo, I'll take that off your hands and I'll pay you an assignment fee. And so for me, making $10,000 on a deal that nobody else wanted, that's a great day.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how many of these deals did you do?
So I just sold one that was a full rehab. The seller needed like 20 grand down, and then she had an ex-husband who needed 15 grand down, and then there was another wholesaler. And so we just, I just was like, hey, look, I have a buyer for it. Extensive down payment. Not many creative buyers would do it because, like Jamil said, they want a low entry fee. And sometimes that's just the situation that you're in, where a cash purchase doesn't make sense, high entry fee.
So what was the entry fee on this one once you sold it?
So, okay, we took, as the wholesalers, we took 5 grand down, and then it was 40 total. And then my buyer actually did nothing with it. He just listed it on the market. He just had to get the owner to give it to him, and he just sold it, and he paid us an extra $1,000. So,
Wow, that's what Pace calls a subtail.
yeah, subtail.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're in a position where you want to build your portfolio. That's fantastic. But don't feel like you can't lock up a deal and sell it to somebody else because they're building their portfolio. You can get rich before you get wealthy. You truly can. And I'll tell you what, if you focus on bringing in the income and making this business of wholesaling an ATM, a cash machine, that gives you options. And I'm telling you, in this upcoming market, you're going to want to have options and finding these opportunities, finding these creative deals, finding these sub-twos, selling them out, I think is a strong strategy. I really do. And I think that, if it's a good property in a good area that you want to keep it, as long as you can get in there, right? As long as it doesn't kill you to the entry fee, right? So there you go. And sell it to Ingrid or sell it to Pace. Sell it to all these guys,
They're ready.
Sell it to the people that are in a position to buy it. Yeah.
I don't know
where it went.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm just gonna get LASIK, guys.
We're gonna get you those big glasses. You know what I'm talking about? It's gonna be amazing.
Y'all don't want to see me in glasses.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Sure we do.
Bifocals, trifocals. Going for trifocals.
What was the main theme? Just as we're wrapping up this 123rd show, what was the main theme of the mastermind this weekend? Great, incredible group. Incredible energy to it. Everybody was awake and alive and looking like. What was there a main theme to this, and how is that different than just, I just went to astro flipping and joined the course? What is a mastermind? What does that do? And maybe you guys can help answer some of the what happened during this weekend that was really impactful.
Well, I think first and foremost, the thing that we do in a mastermind is really help people understand structure.
Right.
But I think one of the most difficult things for somebody new in wholesaling, or somebody that's been getting some success in wholesaling, but not been able to scale it to where they're trying to get, $100K a month or something like that, is that they haven't built out a good structure for their day.
Yeah.
And truly, I think that's where a lot of people's failure happens. So what we did is we got really honest with ourselves, and we did an inventory of what we're actually doing all day long. Because I can promise you guys, if you are not in a spot right now where, if you're doing wholesale full time and you're sitting down and you're going 5 days a week and you're not able to carve out 3 to 5 deals a month, let me tell you what's happening. You are wasting time all day long. What you need to do is do an inventory of what you are actually doing. What activities are you doing all day long, and how meaningful and impactful are those activities? Right? When you can time block and you've got specific criteria of the things that you need to do for acquisitions, and you do that in a way that you've got no distraction. And if you're utilizing acquisition techniques like I teach in astro flipping, where you're gaining relationships with people rather than having to climb the mountain to get a deal, what you're doing is you're creating for yourself a pipeline of opportunity that you can go back and feed from over and over and over again. So the mastermind is truly just the highest level approach of understanding what we do during the day, what techniques we can bring to our day to maximize our efforts, and then putting that thing into action.
Love it.
Yeah. And then
agree?
Yeah. And then on top of that, just to add to it, I think, Jamil provides great mindset techniques for us to just figure out what we need to do individually to get to that next level. Whether it's, he speaks so much on meditation, and really how you start your day is the most important thing. And, one of the things that, really, really was great was not not being on your phone as soon as you wake up. I know a lot of us do that. As soon as we wake up, we'll just check our phone. And just how that can really just ruin your day, and just thinking about like how that can affect you, and then also the sound bath that that we experience on day 2 as well.
Yeah, I love to incorporate a lot of mindset work in the mastermind. It's a part
everything.
of my, it's a part of my course, right? The first week of astro flipping is a mindset deep dive. And I've heard many people that have gone through the astro program say to me, although they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars because of the real estate techniques that they learned, they still got more benefit from the first week mindset deep dive than they did from the techniques that they learned. And that's changing their financial lives because they were able to become better people from the mindset work.
Well, change. I mean, change is tough. Change is that, it's that punch to the gut. Nobody wants to change, right?
Yeah.
It feels good to be in our groove. It feels good to be it. But if we want something that we don't have, you have to become somebody that you aren't. That's it. You know what I mean? And that requires change. And that requires failure, Luis.
Yeah, Luis, I love this question.
Yep.
He says, Jamel, what do you suggest for getting over the fear of failure for someone who hasn't done a deal yet? Well, first, Luis, I appreciate you asking this question, but I want to understand, what is wrong with failure? Why are you so afraid of it? Why are you so afraid of things not working out for you immediately? Why can you not be okay with learning through the process? Why does it need to be, I'm going to do this work and then I'm going to get this deal and that's what's going to happen? Why not get your feet wet? Why not learn more skills? Why not learn what not to do? Why not get new techniques or new ways of looking at a deal or new ways of approaching a circumstance and learning how to do that through a failed attempt? I can tell you the things that I remember the most are the mistakes I made. And then guess what I don't do? Make those mistakes again. They are the best things. And it was something that I actually talked to the mastermind students again about, was if I look back in my life and I look at the most painful experiences that I went through, I can find the seeds of my greatest accomplishments planted in those failures.
Every time.
Guys, the seeds to your greatest accomplishments are planted in your biggest failures. You're just not looking at your failure correctly.
And the faster it goes, the faster you fail. I do a lot of reading, and a lot of it is on these big type personalities, big type business people, big type authors, big type, whatever. Just people that have done remarkable things in their lives. All of them say they failed faster.
Yeah.
Failed faster and faster, from musicians to business people to politicians to people that just, run nonprofits. It is literally failing fast. And then people adapt you either win or you learn, right? You either win or you learn. So you could call it failure. You could label it however you want. But just because you failed at something doesn't make that you. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, that's where you learn. You make the adjustments, and then all of a sudden it makes you stronger and more experienced. I mean, that's why people were in apprenticeships for forever, because they had to learn all of these different ways to fail, and then they become the master. So, I mean, it's like you don't walk in to a dojo and they give you a black belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to go and you got to fail over and over again, and then you become the master.
I have been told that I'm pretty good at wholesaling.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're decent.
And let me tell you guys that in 2008, I lost $12 million. In 2008, I made my entire family homeless. In 2008, I was borrowing money from my then girlfriend so that I could pay my bills. Guys, failure is necessary.
Yep.
You are never going to become great at anything unless you've taken a loss.
Love it. Great show. Come on, everybody get up here. We'll say goodbye to everybody together. Come on up. Guys, thank you so much. This show does not happen without you guys. Join me Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Ugly House's Big Check Show. We go 2 hours long. And Jamil, live shows? What's going on?
Yeah, well, Straight Outta Compton right now, YouTube is blocking me.
Yep.
So, guys, I'll let you know when that comes back.
Okay.
But you've got a show on Wednesday.
Yep.
and then Pace has Sunday service on
Yep.
Sunday. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Wholesale Hotline 123.
Love you. See you next week.
Peace.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.